Hello everybody, this is Stephen Alston and this is the weigh-ins. Every Friday we're going to bring you this little magazine style show where we put together what's going on in the world of MMA. We're going to have outside broadcasts from our guys that are over at events. We're going to have some fighters joining us by the magic of Skype. And we're going to cover what's going on this weekend and this week in the world of MMA. First up, we've got for you, Tito Ortiz is telling Conor McGregor to pump the brakes a little bit and to listen to Dana White and trust Dana and Lorenzo over what's best for his future. Now, this is actually insane because Tito Ortiz does not miss an opportunity to throw shade at the UFC. So for him to come out and defend the UFC, Conor, you've got to really listen to him, because if he's telling you to defend him, then he's going to be going against every little part of his being to do so. So if he's saying it, then the best thing for your career is going to be to back down a little bit, listen to what the UFC, Dana, Lorenzo are asking you to do, and get back in the octagon and sort this mess out. The next little nugget of news that we've got for you is UFC on Fox. Fight Night Chicago has now got a co-main headline. Glover Teixeira is going to be facing off against Anthony Rumble Johnson in what is sure to be a fight that either doesn't need stools, doesn't need a judge, and he's definitely going to need a mop. That's an awesome fight. Both of them are obviously not able to compete at UFC 200. We've got the light heavyweights title going up on the line at UFC 200. So these guys fighting just 2 weeks after that is going to be an awesome opportunity to find out who the winner of Jones and Cormier probably faces in their first or next defence. We've also had Rafael dos Anjos throwing shade at Conor McGregor. Why is it always Conor McGregor everyone wants to throw some shade at for him not knowing how to tie the belt around his gi properly from an Instagram post saying you're a brown belt and you should know how to tie it? Well, I guess it's true, but sometimes, and if you look at the picture as well from Conor McGregor, it looks like he's pretty sweaty. He might have just flung it together, tied it for the photograph, but he does have a point. Another little random one that we've got is from Carlos Condit's Snapchat. Now, Carlos has been posting some training footage, and on the training footage, he says, getting ready for a rematch with Nick Diaz. That's a fight everyone would like to see, isn't it? Bellator getting some headlines as well this week because they've released some comic book posters ahead of Bellator 154. Phil, Mr. Wonderful Davis, and King Mo. Check these bad boys out. These are awesome promotion posters. Check them out. This weekend is obviously all about UFC Fight Night in Rotterdam, and we've got Jim from Rotterdam. Let's see what he's had to say.
Thanks, Steve. Jim Edwards here, live on the ground in Rotterdam for UFC Fight Night 87 this Sunday evening. In the main event, Alistair Overeem takes on Andrei Arlovski, and in the co-main event, Stefan Struve takes on Antonio Bigfoot Silva. Now today, I got the chance to sit down with the South African middleweight Gareth McLennan, who fights on the prelim card this Sunday against Magnus Siddenblad. Here are the highlights, check it out. Gareth, it's been a while since I last seen you, back in October, UFC Dublin. What have you been up to since then?
Yeah, look, keeping busy. Obviously training never stops, so we're always in the mix with the training. Did some travelling, was in Montreal for a short period of time. 6 weeks I was there, so did some training out there. Yeah, just in preparation for this fight. You know, we came off Ireland looking good and happy with the win, but there was some stuff that we needed to fix, so we went back to hard work and make sure we fix those things and make sure that we're ready for this one.
Over in TriStar, that must have obviously been a great experience. Have you been there before for your training? Is that normal for you, or was this kind of a new kind of venture that you went out for your training camp?
No, look, we've got a good relationship with the TriStar team. My gym has travelled there before and we spent some time with them, so you know, that relationship is there and we decided to use it and get involved with them. Just a different environment and obviously different characters and you know, obviously top level fighters out there, so it was good to go out there and spend some time with them, get some confidence in myself and know that I'm doing the right things. And then yeah, just to help change some small things and get myself in a good space for the last haul of the camp.
So tell me about this fight with Magnus. How did it come together? Was he a guy that you said to the UFC you would fancy being matched up with, or was he just given to you as an opponent?
Look, obviously I want to climb the ladder, and by doing that you need to fight top level fighters. I didn't ask for Magnus in particular. He was a fight that was given to me, but obviously you know he's had 3 good wins in the UFC and he started to develop a very good name for himself. So you know it's the right type of fight that I want.
What do you think of him as an opponent? What difficulties do you think he's going to bring to the table on Sunday evening?
Yeah, look, I think he's just, big, tall guy. His long reach, it makes it very difficult. It just makes it very awkward. I think he's a guy that poses a lot of different threats because of his height. I think he likes to make it scrappy and weigh himself upon people. I think people are not used to that kind of thing with fighting a guy of that size. I've been very fortunate. I've got 5 or 6 tall guys that are 6'4", 6'3", 6'5", so I'm used to that kind of thing. I think it's going to be physical, but I'm a physical type of guy. It's part of my game, and so I thrive on those kind of situations. So I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be a hard fight. Anytime that you are climbing the ladder, you take that step up. The opponents are very difficult. Their skill sets are a little bit developed, obviously with being in the industry a little bit longer. He has been out for 2 years, so that might play a part, but I don't like to look too much into that because it could be it's also a good period for him to adapt himself. So I've just got to go in there and do the things that I've been working on and the things that I want to do, and make sure I execute my game plan, and I'll come on the winter.
So there you have it, there's my chat with Gareth, and keep checking back all weekend to our YouTube page to make sure you catch all of the interviews I'll be doing here in Rotterdam this weekend. Anyway, Steve, that's enough from me. Back over to you.
Cheers for that, Jim, and it's nice to hear from Gareth McLennan as well. Here's what's coming up in the main event of UFC Rotterdam. Of course, the main event this weekend, Andrei Arlovski faces off against Alistair Overeem. Overeem with over 50 fights to his name, Arlovski with almost 40 fights to his name. These are heavyweights in every single sense of the word. Two of the most experienced at the top of the heavyweight division, which is going through some serious changes at the moment. How's this fight going to go down? Well, for me, I think it's going to go to Overeem inside the distance. I think Arlovski's got some chances if he can bring him to the mat, tie him up, pressure him up against the cage, but I just don't think he's going to have the opportunity to do that. I think Overeem's going to put his hands on him. One of the most accurate strikers in the UFC, one of the most rangy strikers in the UFC. He's got the knees, he's got the kicks, he's got the punches. He's an absolute beast. If you allow him to tee off on you, you're not going to have a good night, and I think it's going to be that sort of night for Andrei Arlovski. I'm going for Overeem inside the distance. Staying with the heavyweights for the co-main event, we've got Antonio Bigfoot Silva and all 7 feet of Stefan Struve coming together. Now, these two guys don't like to take it to the mat very often, so I'd expect to see these two both stand and trade, but I don't think it's going to be the most exciting fight of the night, and I would expect this one to go the distance, and I'm going to pick Stefan Struve with a decision win tonight. Another fight that you want to be watching out for on this card is Gunnar Nelson against Tumenov. Now, Tumenov has got 11 knockout victories. He definitely does have the power in his hands. And Gunnar Nelson is famed for his jiu-jitsu game and for his ground game and for his grappling. So this is a little bit of a clash of styles, And I expect Gunnar Nelson is going to need to display some decent stand-up from this. We like the karate style and the distance that he keeps on the feet. I think he's going to have to start throwing some bones, though, if he's going to have a chance in this one. Tumenov is a dangerous opponent, and I'm not sure how this one's going to go. I think the grappling might just edge it, though, as we often see when a grappler is up against a puncher, and I expect Gunnar Nelson is probably going to take advantage of the grappling, and I reckon he's going to probably lay and pray himself to a decision win. So that is it from this week. This is only a very short one this week. Next week we hope to be doing a longer one, so please get any comments in below. We're going to be including tweets of the week and comments of the week from you guys. So please, any comments that you want, any questions that you've got, and we will answer those in next week's show, out next Friday. The weigh-ins, remember, out every single Friday, just like the normal weigh-ins. We've also got the Pound for Pound podcast on iTunes. Please go check that out. It's hosted by UFC middleweight Sam Alvey. This week he was joined by UFC light heavyweight Misha Kirkunov for a nice little chat. So please make sure you go check that out. Please subscribe to us on iTunes. As I said, chuck any questions that you want and any questions that you've got for us in the comments below. We will answer them and include the best ones in tweets of the week next week. Thank you for joining us on the weigh-ins, and we'll see you next Friday for some more MMA chat. Thanks, laters.